Basically, I bought my tickets 4 months ago. Another thing is Daniel offered me a $25 credit. I didn't take it. I would not recommend this company to anybody. They're scammers. Do not use them. OnlineCityTickets.com. If they pop up when you're ordering tickets through a venue, run. Just go to the box office and buy the tickets yourself, because that's what I would do. If there was a place to give them 0 stars, I would. I wouldn't even give them 0 stars. I would not even give them the time of day if I could. But basically, online city tickets are a bunch of scammers, liars, and they will do anything to try and get you to hang up and go about your day happily, and we shouldn't stand for it. I kind of have a big list. I've actually tried to call them 7 times since 2 days ago, actually, to resolve the problem. First, I just want to say I'd never meant to buy from them. I was on PPL Center's site and got redirected to them. I'm not sure if they do listing by seat. I clicked on my seats and I kind of didn't even think anything of it, didn't even read the company name. I kind of just thought it was who PPL Center did their tickets through or something like that. And I bought these tickets back on December 1st, and now today, March 16th, the day of my event, it's been a long time coming. So, like I said, I bought these tickets, and they were listed to come by March 14th, 2 days ago. They didn't come, so I called. I have my whole list here, written down every detail of every call. So March 14th at 7 p.m., I called and just said, hey, I don't have my tickets yet. What's the deal? The email said it would come by today. They haven't. What's up? The name of everybody, but this first girl just told me, if they don't come by tomorrow morning, give us a call. So yesterday rolls around. I was kind of busy. We're trying to get my son in daycare. So before I left at 8 a.m., right about when they opened, I think I'm a time zone ahead of them. So right when they opened, I called at 8 a.m. That's the 15th now. The guy said, PPL Center is on a 48-hour delay. You should have them by 3 p.m. So I was like, okay, no problem. I mean, I got a day and a half left. It's fine. It doesn't start till 6:30 p.m. tonight. So I figured that's fine. 3 p.m. rolls around. I have nothing yet. I call again. First of all, they all asked me a different confirmation method, which later on they're like, well, we have different ways to do that, 4 digits of card number, zip code, all that. And it seems fine, but it's like, that seems kind of crazy. I bought these on my father-in-law's card as a gift for my mom. He had the money at the time, so I paid him back. And it's like, well, if I don't know that, then I don't know what to do. So that's just kind of silly. But the girl says, well, you should have them by 6 p.m. What if your seller's in a different time zone? And that seems crazy to me. I'm like, can't you see the details of my seller? You don't know where they are or whatever. And every time they try to talk to my seller, it's like, let me put you on hold, I'll contact them. It's like, I don't know. That just seems crazy. It's like, can't they just message me directly saying, hey, I'm having a problem? Like, you want people going through you all the time if they want to get themselves out there. I don't really know what the deal with that is. So I'm like, well, that's responsible. You don't know where my seller is. And at that point, right after that or right before that, one of those, I had called PPL, and they tell me it's out of their hands. They don't sell directly to third-party sellers like Online City Tickets. People come into the box office, buy the tickets, and resell them on sites like that. So PPL Center basically tells me, you're out of luck. Sorry, we can't do anything. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, they're lying to me, because PPL Center has no sort of delays, no sort of anything. So 6 p.m. rolls around. I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not getting these tickets. And I'm pretty frustrated at this point. When I had looked them up to try and see if there was a phone number, I had seen all of their awful, awful reviews. Every site that had reviews for them was 1 star. And there was one site that had 5 stars for them. And I went on and I looked at some of them, and it's like they're just putting reviews on to make themselves look better. Just said, good, great, wonderful, so happy, okay. It's like, you can't tell me why you think they're okay. You didn't say such and such was so helpful with my order. They did blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, well, that's not very convincing. So 6 p.m., I called, and at this point I'm able to understand people's names better. I get the manager named Roberto, and he says that the seller has until today, 3/16, the day of the event, to send them to me, which I'm calling at 3/15, March 15th at 6 p.m. Still haven't received my tickets. And, he says, well, the seller, their responsibility is to get them to you by the day of the event, and you'll have them in time for your event. And I'm like, why would you send me an email saying that I'm going to have them at March 14th if you're not planning to give them to me till the day of? That's really bad. And then I had gone on the site. They let you put your order number and email in to check the status, and they just said 3/15 then. They kept delaying me and delaying me. And he says none of the emails I've received have a timestamp, which is true, but it's like, why would all your employees tell me this, and that if it's not true? And he's like, well, they just have a date. I'm like, why would you tell me the date if you're not going to give them to me on that date? And, I had seen all their reviews, and, I was furious by this point. Honestly, I never get angry at people like that, but I had seen all their reviews. I cursed him out, honestly, and I said, he didn't have anything to say after this. I hung up. I said, I'm either getting my tickets or you're going to refund me. And if I don't get a refund, I'm taking legal action. Because this has happened to too many people. This sucks. I don't want this to happen to anyone else when I never intended to do business with this site to begin with. At that point, right after then, I had to pick my sister up, so I was kind of having a day yesterday. I took my son to daycare. At night, I had to take my sister to an interview. Before I left, I contacted the Illinois Attorney General. I live in Pennsylvania, so I don't know what my course of legal action would be if I wanted to sue them or whatever, but it was brought to my attention that I could contact the Illinois Attorney General, which is the Better Business Bureau lists them as Illinois with their address. And right on the webpage, the front of the webpage for the Illinois Attorney General, she has a thing you click on to put in consumer complaints, and you put in the address of the business, what the deal is, what you want, and I put refund, or I put even if you wanted to shut them down. There's enough reviews out there. They haven't given anyone refunds. They've overpriced. They were rude to people. They don't, they just don't follow through, and it's like, they're just a scam business. That's the end of my calls yesterday. This morning, I was still furious. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. I better let them know now that I'm not screwing around anymore, At that point, I was furious. My event is tonight at 6:30. What is it? It's almost 2 o'clock now, so I'm still waiting on these tickets. So this morning at 10 a.m., I call, and I'm put on with Tanisha, and she tries to check the seller and puts me on hold for over 20 minutes, and I guess, I don't know if something happened when she tried to pick me up, or they just hung up on me, but it hung up. The call ended. Called back and spoke to Kiana, and she tells me that Tanisha couldn't contact the seller and that the manager was going to get me tickets because per their guarantee, you will get tickets that are, the same level or better seating, like same seating or better seating, if you don't get your tickets. And, so I'm like, okay, great. And then she was like, well, let me put you on hold and double check that that's what's going to happen. And she puts me on hold and comes back and says, hey, we got a hold of the seller. You will have them. So I'm like, all right, I really don't believe that, but, we'll see. And I just called again right after I got your email for this interview to see if there's anything else I could do. So I called at 1 p.m. I demanded the supervisor tickets, and the girl said that I would get the tickets, and she claimed that the supervisor can't just up and give me tickets like that, and I was baffled because I'm like, well, why would you say something like that if you're not going to be able to do that for me? That doesn't make any sense to me. That, all your employees are either lying to me or they all know different stuff. Nobody knows what they're doing at this company. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I told her off again. The second time I cursed someone out, and I don't do that. I don't. I like to think I'm a nice person. I don't like saying no to people. So this is rare for me, but I'm furious. And I paid $50 per ticket for this. My mom went to the box office. This was a Christmas gift for my mother. Her boyfriend ended up wanting some, so she purchased extra tickets. She purchased them at the box office for $20. I paid $50 per ticket, plus almost $50 on a service fee. I spent over $200 just to go to a concert that I'm not even going to act like I'm going to go to this concert. So she puts me on, I tell her off. I told her I got in contact with the Attorney General. I didn't get in contact with her, but I told her I'd, sent it in. And, I'm getting told different things by everyone, and finally I get on with a guy named Daniel who's in the customer care, and he puts me on hold again to check another thing. So I've been on hold like 3 times in this call alone, and he told me that about the seller again, and I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe any of you guys anymore because I've been waiting since December, 4.5 months now this person has had to give you the tickets, and you promised them to me by 2 days ago, now yesterday, now today. You can't keep extending it. My event's tonight. And he's like, well, our company thing is you'll get your tickets by your event. And I'm like, I don't believe that. You got 4 hours and you've been telling this guy over and over. He's like, well, we'll tell them again and contact them again to send them to us. I'm like, you have been, apparently. I don't believe it at all. They don't even know where my seller is located. According to that one girl, she doesn't know what time zone they're in. She can't tell me what state they're in. If she told me what state they're in, I could have figured it out myself. And I'm like, be real with me. If I'm not getting these tickets, just tell me. And if I'm not, tell me, am I getting a refund? And he says, well, we have a protocol in place, and if I don't receive them, we have that protocol in place. And I'm like, well, what's your protocol? And he's like, well, I can't tell you. Every order is different, blah blah blah. I'm like, you see what my tickets are for. You see the quantity. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I tell him, is the protocol a refund? And he would not use the word refund. He could not. He didn't tell me he couldn't say. He just kept using the word protocol over and over, and that didn't involve a refund at all. So I guess it seems like their refunds are really picky. Like if you cancel your order, they can't get a refund or blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get my tickets. That's one reason why you should give anyone a refund. So I told him before I hung up, I was so angry, and he kept saying the same thing, and I was like, I'm glad I contacted the Attorney General. Goodbye. Because if there's anyone who would be able to try and get me that refund, it would be, I think her name is Lisa Madigan, who's the Attorney General of Illinois. So I'm like, Lisa, can you help me out here? I guess she'll contact me by mail, but either way, if I can't pursue legal action from state to state in regards to this, then hopefully contacting the Illinois Attorney General will be helpful to me, since they're located in Illinois. And that's where I'm at right now. I took all those phone calls and still nothing, and I've seen people pay way overpriced and never get their tickets, or pay overpriced and go, and they didn't have the same seats, they couldn't use the tickets because someone else's name was on them, and this and that and the other thing. And I feel horrible because, well, my mom ended up with other plans anyway, so she's giving me her tickets. She doesn't care because she got a meet and greet, which was a totally separate ticket thing. She's happy. I get to go to the concert, but I'm still just this could have gone so differently. I wouldn't have been able to go. My mom wouldn't have been able to go. And I'm out $200. So I'm just furious.